Welcome to Chamber Tutorials. I'm JR Timothy, and I'm here with my good friend
Mike,
who is our senior ad buy. And today he is going to be showing us how to create our first Facebook ad. Mike, learn me something good.
You gonna learn today.
first thing you're gonna need is a Facebook account. So
Okay.
That's pretty important.
Classic.
Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go to business.facebook.com.
Business.facebook.com. Okay.
Yep. And that is where you're going to be able to access your ads manager. There's going to be a little 3-line menu. Go to the ads manager, click on that, and it'll bring you here. From there, there's going to be a create box. You'll hit that. So what we got here is there's a lot of different objectives that you can choose from on Facebook. If you want to go for awareness, there's a play for that. Most of the time when you're working with e-com, we're going for conversions.
And a conversion would be someone clicking and buying.
That's what I'm going to choose today, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So we're going to click conversions in the conversion column, and then we'll hit continue there. From there, you can name your campaign whatever you want. We will generally name it TOF for top of funnel, and then we will name conversions. That way we know what our goal is in this particular campaign. Some campaigns are going to be like landing page views, more traffic or something like that. So top of funnel here, or some people would call it prospecting, whatever you want to call it, it works. So then we're going to go down, and this is where you choose between campaign budget optimization, which means you're going to set the budget at the campaign level or the ad set level. If you set it at the campaign level and you've got multiple ad sets, Facebook is going to choose which of the ad sets it wants to go spend most of the money in. So you're starting with campaign, that's your top view. Then we're going to hit next, that's going to bring us to our ad set level. And you can kind of follow it along here on the left-hand side, campaign level, ad set level. And this is where, again, we would name it top of funnel. And then generally, I like to name my ad set level the interest group that I'm going to go after.
I will find you.
So say, for example, I'm selling something golf related, and my first interest group is going to be golf. So I name it that, so that way when I'm taking a look at my ads, I know that this is my top of funnel campaign, and if I go into the campaign, I know this is my golf interest group. I know that this next interest group is maybe abroad, or maybe it's something different. And then you're going to choose the conversion event location. Again, most of the time it's going to be on the website, unless you've got an app that you're driving people to, or you want to send them to your messenger so that you can start talking to them on Messenger. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can go with it. So it's definitely important to know what you're doing when you get into Facebook, because it can get pretty sticky pretty quick. After that, you're going to want to make sure you've got the right pixel.
And this pixel ID can be used for Google Analytics and things for tracking.
Right.
Copy and paste that into your website coding.
Genius, genius, genius.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. So you'll get into the pixel, and that's what your website uses to talk to Facebook and tell it whether or not it got a conversion or a landing page view or whatever your goal is.
And is that typically what the pixel does? The pixel's just the piece of code that communicates back and forth with the ad campaign and to let people know what happened.
That's easy!
Setting up a pixel can be really easy, especially if you're using websites like Shopify. They've got it integrated pretty well, so it works pretty good. But every now and then it does present problems, so it's nice to have somebody around who knows what they're doing with that as well. After you choose your pixel, make sure you got the right pixel. You're going to go into the conversion event, and you're going to choose what conversion event you want it to be. For our purposes, we're choosing lead. However, most of the time, you are going to want to do something like purchase. That's what most, e-com brands want to do, is a purchase, because that's what we're driving towards.
Make them bills.
Love that money!
And then, we're going to choose lead just for our purposes.
Just for us.
Yeah. And then after that, you can look here, dynamic creative. This gives you the opportunity to run multiple images and multiple copy at the same time. And Facebook is going to run those side by side, and it's going to choose the combination of what it wants to do.
He's a liar!
And it's going to do that based off of what the viewer is more likely to convert on. And I'll turn it on again just to show you. It'll always give you that little message. You can just click OK on that and move forward. Because we did not choose CBO, which is campaign budget optimization, we're doing ad budget. It's asking us, you can see here we're on the ad level, and it's asking us our budget on the ad level. That's where you're going to set it at what you want. That's entirely up to you, how much you want to spend per day on your ads.
What do you recommend good daily budget?
Yeah, so
should you go daily budget, or is it what are the different options that you have?
There's daily budget, and then there's a lifetime budget. I will generally lean towards a daily budget, because if you've got a good running ad set, you just want to keep letting it run. If you put it on a lifetime budget, it could be a great running ad, and then it's going to hit the end of the lifetime and it's going to stop running, and you're going to have to restart an ad, and it may not perform as well as it did the first time.
That's a bummer.
Daily
Yeah.
budget it is.
Yeah. The only time I would choose lifetime budget is you can choose to serve on particular days and particular hours. So if you want to serve your ads between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Fridays, you can't choose that with daily budget. You can only choose it with lifetime budget.
Interesting trade-off there. But let's talk about the actual budget real quick. How much do you think an e-commerce brand should spend?
Yeah,
Is there a set amount?
We generally don't like to go anything less than about $10,000 a month,
Excuse me? A baking powder?
which equates to roughly like $333 a day-ish.
I know some of you might be hurting at that. Some of you might be like, oh, no, that's nothing. I can do that. Good for you.
And that's mostly because we want there to be enough budget for Facebook to put our ad in front of enough people and to be able to optimize properly for the algorithm to put the ads in the right place.
What if someone doesn't have $10,000 a month to spend on a daily budget?
Generally what I would do is I wouldn't break up my budget so much then. When we start running ads, we want to do some testing. We want to break our budget into different ad sets and different campaigns so that we can test different audiences. And once we find a winning audience, we'll pour more money into that audience. Meanwhile, the ones that maybe aren't winning, we'll turn those ones off. But if somebody doesn't have enough or doesn't have $10,000 to spend on ads, I would usually run one at a time. I wouldn't break it up so much. If you have it go so low, it won't have enough to run the algorithm properly, and you won't be able to optimize as well. Under that, we've got a schedule here. Usually I'll just, when I build an ad, I run it and launch it right away. However, if you want to get ahead of things, you can actually schedule a start date. Say, on Monday we want to run an ad and I want to do it at 8 o'clock in the morning and I want Facebook to just do that for me. You can schedule it to start on Monday morning at 8 in the morning and I don't have to touch anything. I've done it already here.
Good.
So good. It's a good option.
Good way to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Down here is where we get into our audiences. This is where you're going to probably be doing a lot of your editing and finding out which audiences are going to work for you. Like I said before, I named this one golf. So you can go in here and you can choose golf as your interest group.
Now, there's a lot of stuff that can go into this. I know sometimes you might be able to get down a rabbit hole. Is there an optimal number to put into the detail targeting?
Depending on the size of the audience, you'll get the size over here on the right-hand side.
Oh, yeah.
So size does matter.
Depending on the size of the audience, we'll do multiple audiences or not. I'll probably keep that. However, if you scroll down on some, after you put in one interest group, you can hit suggestions here, and it'll give you other interest groups that are similar to that golf audience group.
Okay.
And you can look at things like people who are interested in PGA Tour. Still a really big audience, but clearly much smaller than the golf interest at 33 million. But if you wanted to, say you're choosing an audience that doesn't have very much in it, which there's nothing here. All of these interest groups are.
Seems like
that
golf
are
is a
related
very
are.
packed audience.
Sometimes you'll find an audience that has maybe 800,000 in it. It's a decent sized audience, but I don't like to run anything to an audience less than about 5 million or so. Anywhere from like 3 to 5 million is kind of like the bare minimum that I'll go with an audience.
Good to know. That's a great tip.
Let's go!
And if something is too broad, if you're just like, wow, that's a really big audience, you can narrow your audience and target people who are interested in golf and, let's say, golf and Taylor Swift.
That's an interesting cross-section right there.
Right. Maybe you're looking for somebody who is a country golfer. You can also choose to exclude certain people. Say you don't want to include people who are interested in keeping with this country theme, Garth Brooks or something like that. Okay, we only want to target people who are interested in golf and Taylor Swift, not golf and Garth Brooks. We don't like that. So we're excluding Garth Brooks.
Wow, that was 5 million people excluded. That is not as many as I thought it would be for golf. Taylor Swift has way more golf lovers than I thought.
Yeah.
Based on having a big or a broad audience versus a narrow audience, is there an advantage or a disadvantage to having one or the other?
I would generally go more broad initially. If you were just testing things out, I'm going to go pretty broad. If I find out that the golf audience is doing really, really well, I might start trying to narrow it down and try to hit like a really targeted group.
So start broad, and then when you know your consumer base, you can narrow it down.
Yeah, exactly. That, and when you start a little more broad, you also let Facebook's algorithm just kind of do its thing.
Let the machine run it for you.
Yeah. There are other things that you can choose as well too if you want to exclude by or target by location, age, gender, things like that. You can do that as well. The other thing that I'll say just quickly is when you're running a top of funnel, you want to exclude your retargeting audience, which means the people who have visited your website or who are fully aware of you already, because you're already targeting them on your bottom of funnel. You can do that here with the existing audiences tab.
Top of funnel, prospecting.
Yep.
Don't get the people that have already interacted with you
Yeah.
because they're further down the funnel now.
Exactly. You can choose different placements to place it on. We always keep it on automatic placement. Sometimes we'll change the placement on it, but
Let the
automatic.
machine figure it out.
Exactly.
Deja vu.
Hit next here, and this brings us to our ad level. And this is where you'll start choosing the Facebook page that you want to run with, the Instagram page, make sure all of that's connected. And this is where you're going to insert your image or your video or whatever it is that you're trying to run in the ad. Just below that is the primary text. And this is where you're going to put your ad copy, whatever's showing primarily on that ad that you want the consumer to see.
Now, I heard emojis with your ad copy tend to work better than
Yeah.
ones that don't have it. So throw some emojis in there in your ad copy.
The other thing with that as well, and I'll dive back into like the dynamic creative. This is where the dynamic creative comes about, is you can start adding different. So now here I've got 3 options for my ad copy. And Facebook will choose those and run them based off of what it feels is going to be best.
Oh, and right there you can get some A/B testing going.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy way to A/B test it. Under that is your headline. Great place for kind of like a thumb stopping. It's what shows right underneath your ad. It's in bold text. Great way to get someone to stop.
Something real clickbaity, right?
Yeah,
You won't
exactly.
believe what she found in her purse.
After that, you'll put your website URL in. So whether that be just your general website or if you want to send them to a particular product page, that's where you'll put it in here. And then you'll choose your call to action. Generally, like I said, it's going to be shop now or learn more. And then you can put your URL parameters down here as well too. And that's pretty much it. So after you've done that, you can hit publish and get your ad running.
Just like that, you've created your first Facebook ad.
First Facebook ad.
Thanks so much for watching. Mike, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having
That was
me.
all really good information. Be sure to like the video to help Mike feel good about himself. Leave your comments below if you want us to talk about other stuff. We're a full-service ad agency at Chamber.Media, and we want to give you awesome information. Anything that you want to know about creating an awesome ad to drive your e-commerce business or your service industry, whatever it may be, comment it below. So take this knowledge and go make something awesome. Thanks for watching.